In the vast, sun-scorched sands of Egypt, a story was almost lost forever, chiseled away from stone and memory. It's the tale of a ruler who commanded one of the most powerful empires the world had ever seen, a pharaoh who built magnificent monuments, launched legendary expeditions, and reigned for over 2 decades in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity. But this pharaoh was different. This pharaoh was a woman. And for centuries, history tried to pretend she never existed. This is the incredible story of Hatshepsut, the queen who became a king. Our story begins in the 15th century BC, during Egypt's glorious new kingdom. A princess named Hatshepsut is born into the royal family, the daughter of the mighty pharaoh Thutmose I. From a young age, she was surrounded by power and divinity. Her father even claimed that the god Amun-Ra had declared she would one day rule Egypt. But in ancient Egypt, the path to the throne was strictly male. So, as was customary, Hatshepsut was married to her own half-brother Thutmose II, becoming his great royal wife. Thutmose II's reign was short and unremarkable. When he died, he left behind only one male heir, a young boy named Thutmose III, born to a lesser wife. This was Hatshepsut's moment. The heir was too young to rule, so Hatshepsut stepped in as regent, the power behind the throne, ruling on her young stepson's behalf. For a few years, everything followed tradition. She was the dutiful queen regent, guiding the young king. But Hatshepsut had grander ambitions. She wasn't content to be a placeholder. In a move that would have shocked the Egyptian court to its core, around the 7th year of her regency, Hatshepsut did the unthinkable. She declared herself pharaoh, not queen, but a full-fledged king of Upper and Lower Egypt. This was revolutionary. To legitimize her rule in a deeply patriarchal society, she began a brilliant and audacious propaganda campaign. She claimed divine birth, weaving a tale inscribed on the walls of her temple that the god Amun-Ra himself had visited her mother in the guise of her father, conceiving her as his divine offspring destined to rule. She didn't stop there. Hatshepsut adopted all the traditional titles and regalia of a male pharaoh. In statues and reliefs, she was depicted with the classic symbols of kingship, the kilt, the false beard worn by pharaohs, and a powerful, masculine physique. She wasn't trying to hide her gender. Everyone knew she was a woman. Instead, she was strategically portraying herself in the only visual language of power her people understood. She was signaling that she was not just a queen. She was a legitimate king, chosen by the gods. And what a king she was. Her reign, lasting about 22 years, was one of the most successful in the new kingdom. Unlike many of her predecessors who are known for military conquest, Hatshepsut was a builder and a trader. Her Egypt was a land of peace, prosperity, and artistic flourishing. She commissioned hundreds of construction projects across the land. Her architects, particularly her loyal steward Senenmut, created some of Egypt's most breathtaking structures. Her crowning achievement was her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, a stunning terraced sanctuary carved directly into the limestone cliffs. Its elegant colonnades and vibrant reliefs still stand today as a masterpiece of ancient architecture. The walls of this temple, which she called Djeser Djesiru, or Holiest of Holies, tell the story of her reign in vivid detail. One of the most famous stories depicted is her legendary expedition to the mysterious land of Punt, a place modern scholars believe was likely in the area of modern-day Eritrea or Somalia. This wasn't a military campaign. It was a massive trade mission. 5 enormous ships sailed south, returning laden with exotic treasures Egypt had never seen before. Gold, ivory, aromatic resins, and most remarkably, live myrrh trees. These trees were successfully transplanted in the soil of her temple, an act of botanical magic that must have seemed like a divine miracle to the Egyptian people. This expedition wasn't just about wealth. It was about prestige, demonstrating her ability to command the world and bring its wonders to Egypt. For over 2 decades, Hatshepsut reigned supreme. She ruled with authority, skill, and vision. She brought wealth and stability to her kingdom, leaving behind a legacy of architectural marvels and artistic innovation. She proved that a woman could be one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. So what happened? Why did history try to erase her? Around the 22nd year of her reign, Hatshepsut disappears from the historical record. The exact circumstances of her death are unknown, though modern analysis of her mummy suggests she was in her 50s and may have suffered from diabetes and bone cancer. After her death, her stepson Thutmose III finally took his rightful place as the sole ruler of Egypt. For about 20 years, everything seemed fine. Hatshepsut's memory was honored. But then, late in his reign, Thutmose III began a systematic campaign to erase her from history. Throughout Egypt, her name was chiseled out of cartouches. Her statues were smashed and buried. Her images as pharaoh were recarved to look like her father, her husband, or Thutmose III himself. The goal was to remove any trace that a woman had ever held the throne of Egypt. The question that has baffled historians for centuries is, why? Was this an act of personal revenge? Did Thutmose III resent the woman who held power for so long while he waited in the wings? For a long time, this was the prevailing theory, a story of a bitter stepson finally getting his vengeance. But modern scholarship offers a more nuanced explanation. The erasure campaign didn't happen immediately after her death. It happened decades later. This suggests it wasn't a crime of passion, but a calculated political move. Thutmose III had become one of Egypt's greatest military pharaohs, the Napoleon of Egypt. It's likely that he, or the powerful officials around him, saw Hatshepsut's reign as a dangerous disruption to Mat, the divine order and balance of the universe. In their worldview, the pharaoh had to be male to maintain cosmic harmony. A female king, no matter how successful, was an anomaly that could threaten the stability of the entire royal lineage. By erasing her, they weren't necessarily attacking Hatshepsut the person. They were trying to correct the historical record, ensuring that the line of succession appeared to pass directly from father to son, from Thutmose I to Thutmose II, Thutmose III, without the unnatural interruption of a female ruler. They were trying to preserve tradition and prevent any future woman from attempting what Hatshepsut had so brilliantly achieved. For nearly 3,000 years, they almost succeeded. Hatshepsut became a footnote, a forgotten queen lost in the sands of time. Her name was gone, her story silenced. But they didn't count on the meticulous work of modern archaeologists. In the 19th and 20th centuries, scholars began piecing together the clues. They noticed cartouches that had been crudely altered, statues that bore feminine grammatical endings in their inscriptions, and a magnificent temple dedicated to a mysterious male king whose story strangely mirrored that of a regent queen. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place in 2007 when a single tooth, found in a wooden box bearing Hatshepsut's name, was matched to a gap in the jaw of an unidentified female mummy. After centuries of silence, the great queen had been found. Hatshepsut's story is more than just a tale from ancient Egypt. It's a powerful reminder of how easily history can be manipulated, and how those who challenge the norms of their time can be punished by later generations. But it's also a story of resilience. Despite the attempts to erase her, Hatshepsut's legacy endured, carved in stone, waiting patiently to be rediscovered. She was a master politician, a brilliant builder, and a visionary leader who defied every convention to rule as a god on earth. She was the queen who became a king, and whose story, once silenced, now echoes through eternity. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found the story of Hatshepsut as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the ancient world. And let me know in the comments, what other historical figure do you think deserves to have their story told? Until next time, stay curious.